Hey guys, this is Rick at Tasty Guitar. Today we're going to be working on a very important technique in funk rhythm guitar, and like a lot of other techniques in funk rhythm, this doesn't really have a term, so I'm going to call it sidestepping. Now what this is going to mean is we're going to take two notes out of a chord voicing. Say let's take this D9 chord right here, and say I want to approach the 3rd and flat 7th, just kind of take those notes out of that chord. I'm going to approach those notes from usually a half step below. Something like that, or I could slide between them. And we can do that with a lot of different shapes within chord voicings. Today I'm going to take you through many of those shapes and also give you some great examples in using this in context. Let's get started. Alright, so first thing I'm going to show you a lot of these little two-note groupings within chord voicings that you will see this being used a lot. Let's take this one for example. Say we want to approach the 3rd and 5th of this D chord right here. That would be a common way to do it. Approach that from a half step below. Important to note where the root is of this shape, so that if you want to move it to another key, another chord, say this F right there, you'll be able to do that. Let's move on now to the next one here. Say we're going to do that shape right there, which is the 3rd and flat 7th of a chord. Common sound there. Another one we could do would be approaching this 5th and flat 7th. We could approach these two notes out of a D9 chord here from a half step below. We could approach the flat 7th and 3rd right there. Also, remember where the root is. Let's move on up to this shape up here at the 10th fret, kind of the dominant chord up there. I could approach the flat 7th and 3rd of the chord, thinking of the root right there and the D note right there. Right there, same two notes as we played down here, but now we're thinking of it coming out of this shape. We could also think of the 3rd and the flat 7th of that chord right there. Still thinking of the root here or the root here, the D note. Approaching from a half step below. And lastly, we could approach the notes here, a 5th and the flat 7th of that D chord. Again, we're thinking of the root right there on that D note or right here. Alright, so now that you've learned some of those really important shapes that you can use with this technique, I'm going to give you some great examples here. Don't forget you can download the tab for this absolutely free at TastyGuitar.com. The backing track used in today's lesson will also be available for free for subscribers. Alright, this first example is pretty easy, very straightforward. We're sliding up to the major 3rd and flat 7th of a D chord, of a D dominant chord. You can think of that as D9 or D7. We are going to slide in from a fret below to those notes, right on beat 1. So this is right there, first 2 16th notes of the beat. Then dead notes. Trying to hit those top 3 strings or top 4 strings, making sure they're muted. Also dead on beat 2. Right after that, and on the upstroke, we're hitting the top of a D13 chord, right there. Finishing it off with another percussive strum and the upstroke there on the top of that D9 chord. So all together we have this. A little slower. Okay, this one's going to be a little bit more difficult. We are starting down here at the D note at the 5th fret, hitting this as a skank strum, meaning it's everything else except that note is muted. So, going to the F note down there at the 3rd fret afterwards on beat 2. Going to the C note. So that first measure is like this. A little bit slower. Continuing on the second measure, going back to that D note. Hit the top of that D9 chord. Then we're going to do that sidestep, and we are going to approach the 5th and flat 7th of a D dominant chord from a half step below, from that 4th and 6th fret. So hit that top of that 9 chord. That's the last 2 beats of that second measure. So let's play the entire rhythm very slow now. Again, one more time, real slow. Alright guys, another great example of this in practice, starting here up at the 12th and 13th fret of D minor 11 voicing. Then go back to the root. Then down to that C note. So altogether, so far we have this. Followed by a couple dead strums again. And there's our slide to the flat 7th and major 3rd of that D dominant chord. Altogether we have this on that first measure. Second measure. Little skank with that C note. Again, back to the root, followed by one more percussive strum. So all together we have this. Okay, in this last example, we are approaching the major 3rd and flat 7th of a D chord right there. And we're starting on a minor 7 sound actually, so I'm going to hit a dead strum. On the up strum, going to hit the 13th fret barred right there with my pinky. Down here to the 10th and 12th fret, and then going chromatically to that 3rd and flat 7. So far we have this. Again. Another downstroke right there on dead strings. Then going to go down to the 10th fret, hit that 5th and the root right there at the 10th fret. So altogether we have this. Again, real slow. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming by today and checking out this lesson in sidestepping in funk rhythm, a crucial technique to learn to be able to play funk rhythm guitar. Make sure that you use these shapes and know where the roots are so that you can apply them in different keys and use them in your own rhythms. If you did enjoy this lesson, please like, share, and subscribe, and come on by TastyGuitar.com where you can download the tab for free. I also offer private instruction via Skype, and I got some great ebooks as well. This has been Rick. Thank you.